Hey guys, I'm Emily Longaretta, the Senior TV Features Editor at Variety, and I'm so excited to do this panel today because I love a procedural. So I'm going to start out by bringing out the one and only Carrie Preston. Followed by Skye P. Marshall. Kirsten Vangsness. And the EVP of Programming for Pluto TV, Amy Kuessner. I love that we all kept standing until all of us sat down. This is why you know you're on a panel with women when that happens. It's so nice. Amy, I want to start with you. I want you to set this up a little bit because I want you to talk a little about what your position at Pluto is and kind of what you do here.
Is this on?
There you go.
It is. I usually don't need one of these, but I will use it for this small grouping. Pluto TV is a free ad-supported streaming service. We offer both linear, so think cable channels, over 450, 2,600 globally. And then we have on-demand with tens of thousands of titles on demand. We are free. The company was started about 10 years ago. And what's really cool is we pioneered this entire space that's now called FAST, free ad-supported streaming television, that is literally transforming the entire media landscape as we speak. Yes. So from startup to being owned by Paramount, and I handle the content and programming for the service.
It's amazing. And yeah, absolutely. Are you guys procedural fans? Were you guys lawyer show fans? What kind of shows do you guys like?
Oh yeah. When I decided to pursue acting, I was 28 years old. So I was working corporate New York, and my first vision board that I made for my career was CBS procedural drama.
Oh my gosh.
It took 14 years for Matlock, but I had a vision.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always loved the reward at the end.
Yeah. Kirsten, what about you?
I am a theater nerd, and my television consumption is abysmal at best sometimes. Okay. And like kind of behind. I'm Doctor Whoing it kind of all the time.
Got it.
But I just started, last year, I started watching HIP. Not High Potential, but HIP, the French one. Mm-hmm. And it's not very violent because I have a hard time with violence. I know, right? I really do. I can't watch it. It is not soothing for my nervous system. It completely terrifies me. So I started it. It's not too violent, but there's a procedure to it, right? And I was like, I'm obsessed with that show. And so when people come to me and they go, Criminal Minds is my comfort show, and I look at you like you have a tentacle, I now get it. Because I'm like, oh, I watch it, and I kind of know, like, oh, this is the character where you're like, oh, you think it's them, but it's not them. You're like, it's got to be them. You're like, oh, no, now you've given me information it's not them. Like, I get it now. Yeah. So I sort of am now. Gateway drug.
Love that. I love it. Carrie, what about you?
Jung Jung. Yeah, I'm a huge Law and Order, and then I got to be on Law and Order I'm a New York-based actor, and so when you're that was like the goal. I want to get an episode of Law and Order, and so I end up being on Law and Order Criminal Intent like 3 different times. I played like 2 killers and a victim, and then I was on SUV, and we call it SUV as a joke, and then but I never did the Mothership, the original. But still, that was like the big dream as a New York actor.
It's funny now that you say that because I feel like Elsbeth is now following in that. Like as a New York show, so many great guest stars are coming on from New York.
Yeah, I mean, we have such an incredible pool of actors to pull from. There's so many theater people that come on our show. I mean, some people fly in for it, but mostly like all of the guests, besides our special guest star, are New York theater actors, almost all of them. And it's incredible. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kirsten, you've been playing this role for 20 years. It's a wild thing to say.
My mind.
I just read 346 episodes, and I was like, that cannot be real.
I know. It's probably not.
It is.
time happens at the same time. So,
what initially made you want to join the show? What initially
a
drew you
job?
to this?
I don't know. Someone could have said like, "Can you hold this puppy and just scream for 20 minutes?" And I'd be like, "Sure."
Yeah.
No, I didn't know what. Again, I do not consume. I didn't then because I could barely afford like a TV. So like I didn't. I had a friend who was working in April Webster's office, who was the casting director of Criminal Minds, and I done a play with her. She wasn't booking anything, so she decided I'm going to figure out how this works. So she decided to work on the other side of the table, and she called me and said, "Will you come in and read for this part? You're never going to get it." They had shot the pilot, and they shot the pilot in Vancouver, and true story that I probably shouldn't be saying, but I'm going to say it. It's been a long time. It was called Quantico, and the head of the network at the time couldn't pronounce Quantico correctly, and no one had the heart to tell them, so they renamed the show. And so true story. So my friend said, "Will you come in?" They had shot a guy already for that part, and then they realized the show is too guy heavy. We need a girl for these 2 lines really quick. And I am completely aware, and I feel like I need to say it. It's kind of gross, and currently there would be no white girl playing Garcia. But 20 years ago, it was like, "Ooh, isn't this fun? Her name's Garcia. Let's get a white girl." And so I got the part, and I was only supposed to be there for then. And then they kept bringing me back. They kept borrowing my clothes because they were like, "We're gonna let go of her." And I'm a weird I was like what is it, 12? We don't. And so I had to borrow back a skirt because I had an audition for a play, and they thought it was for a TV show. And then they gave me a series regular contract in like episode 6.
Okay.
And I wasn't in episode 5. And I thought, well, I can at least turn to my family and be like, proof.
Yeah.
Like I actually do this. And my mom and my sister they had scheduled an intervention. They told me, "You have to quit acting. We can't like help you pay for your car or anything else anymore." Like every once in a while, I'll be like, I can't pay my rent. And so they had told me, and then I had to call them and be like, I have a job this week. And they're like, "You have to not go. Like you can't do this because you're going to keep tricking yourself." I was, "No, it's really real. It's just for 2 days, but I get to fly away and do it." And then it became this. Wow. So joke's on them.
Congratulations.
That is such a
So
great
I just
story.
took it because it was a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, that's a great reason. That's an honest reason. I love that.
And I love it. It's like the greatest. Everybody who's like, I love that job. I love it. It's the best.
Garcia is the best part of the show. I'm going to say it. Garcia is the best part of that
It's set
show.
up like that. I mean, it's so much. I get to wear the best clothes. They give me the best lines. I sit in a room and I'm the Deus Ex Machina. I bring everybody's nervous system relief. Like there is so many reasons why that is padded up to be that way. And I'll take it. I mean, I like it. But I'm very aware of how fortunate I am in that.
Yeah,
that they've set it up like that.
Skye, how did you tap into Olympia? Because she is such a boss. And so
badass.
confident and so
Thank you.
badass. Yeah.
There are moments where I'm like, am I playing Olympia or is Olympia being Skye? To be honest, you get this like short window prior to your big audition to decide like who are you going to be in this moment. And like, to be honest, like I thought that I was going to turn up my properness and try to sound very intelligent. And I was like trying to get rid of my accent. And then I decided to rewatch Viola Davis as Annalise Keaton on How to Get Away with Murder. And after rewatching Viola, she just kind of gave me permission to just be bold, sassy, seasoned. You know what I mean? A little bit of seasoning on the character that I took that into my chemistry read with Kathy Bates because I'm like, this is a woman from Memphis. If Olympia's going to be, which was always originally going to be a black woman, she's going to want a black woman. Mm-hmm. But I was conditioned for so long to be afraid of my accent because it might have been connected to being unintelligent. And so I had to find this unique way to be able to turn it on and off, because for survival, I've always learned to code switch. And I had to make that a part of the character. And so when I go into the courtroom, that's one version of Olympia. When I'm in the office, there's another one. The way I talk to you two, or Maddie, or Jason. And I believe we all are like that in life. You know, so when people ask, like, actors, they look at the character and they're like, okay, so who is she? And I'm like, no, who is she in this environment, right? Because who I am with my husband is not who I am with my mother, is not who I am if I get pulled over. Oh my God, all of a sudden my voice is like way up here and I'm like, officer, I'm so sorry. Was I speeding? Oh my God, let me get my license. I don't want to hold you up. But inside I'm like, what are you doing? Stop it. So it's a gift and a curse to be able to be a chameleon, and I just wanted to make sure that I put all of that into Olympia so that the culture can still relate. Yeah. And it's kind of been a mirror to my journey.
Yeah, I love that so much. Carrie, similarly to Kirsten, you've been playing Elsbeth for quite some time. I mean, many episodes of The Good Wife, 14 of The Good Wife, 5 of The Good Fight, and now 30 episodes under your belt of Elsbeth. What do you think it is about her that stands out and that works so well now? Because, I mean, this show is a massive success and people can't stop talking about it. So what do you think it is that it resonates so well?
Well, thank you. It's a miracle to me that you just said that, you know. This is, you know, to go from a guest spot to another guest spot. And then every time I would play the character, I would think this is the last time. This is the last time. Because when you're a guest, you're just there to serve, you know, to someone else's storyline happily. And that's what I love to do. And I've done that throughout my career. And then to be trusted to be, you know, the main course is, I'm still pinching myself about that. You know, it's funny, you were talking about being a different person in different scenarios. Elsbeth is Elsbeth in every scenario. And it's very interesting to play a character like that, who is unapologetically who she is. And I would like to think that that's what audiences enjoy about her as well. You know, it takes a lot of discipline to be positive, to have positive intent, you know, and that's what she does, you know, and it's infectious playing a character like that, because it really makes me strive to be myself and, you know, to look at things in a positive way. And I think that the joy that the character has is what seems to be resonating with people right now. And that might just be what's keeping them watching.
Absolutely.
At least I hope.
I 100% agree. It's all about, I think people need some joy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great thing. Amy, I want to ask you, I mean, what is it that you guys look for when you're thinking about what shows do we want to offer? And what was it about kind of these shows, these women that you were drawn to?
Well, we have all of these shows on Pluto TV in various forms. So I'll start with Elsbeth. We have something called the Rolling Four. It's more of an industry term than anything. But literally on our on-demand product, you can get the latest CBS episodes of Elsbeth, which are also airing on Paramount Plus paid. But you can get them for free. 1 week later on Pluto TV. So when we're in season, you're getting the episodes on a rolling 4 basis. We also have a channel with The Good Fight and The Good Wife, 24/7 linear channel. In terms of Matlock, again, rolling 4. And I should say between Elsbeth and Matlock on VOD, top 5 in terms of performance. Matlock's 1. Elsbeth is 4 or 5. So like the performance is incredible, just the consumption that we see with such limited episodes. And then we also have a Matlock Classic channel as well with Andy.
That's where I've been. Matlock.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I gotta watch Matlock.
And then
I was like, oh, this is nothing like this. Okay.
So, and then in terms of Criminal Minds, we have had more of the library product. So all your past 18 seasons live on a 24/7 channel. We are not right now in a rolling forward window with you on Evolution, but these are the channels that are just like driving massive consumption on our platform. And the crime audience for Pluto TV overall, this is where we really lean in because it's a big audience. It's obviously 80. I'm actually surprised to see so many men in here, but the crime audience is 80% female. And studies show that women, I'm very like, you know, why are women always watching crime? Well, you're watching it because you really want to get into the head of these perpetrators. You want to learn like defensive skills, protection, yes. And so there's a whole like psychology behind why we are, you're not you, we are watching it.
That's why I'm acting in it.
So it's fascinating to me. And I'll end by saying, just in terms of, you know, we look at our users and how they're performing across our platform. I know the business stuff isn't that interesting. This is more fun. But a crime user, whether it's drama or true crime, is a healthy user for Pluto TV and Paramount Plus. For Pluto, that user watches multiple channels. They stay on our platform for over a year and a half. Their minutes per user, meaning every time they open up the app, they're watching about 120 minutes. That's really healthy. And again, like I said, they stick around.
They're on a treadmill while it's happening.
So we love crime, and we're owned by CBS or Paramount. So this is the area, going back to the CBS procedurals that Skye mentioned. This is where we lean in. We get all of that library on our service for free, and the new episodes as well in the rolling floor.
I love it so much. I think you said this might not be this interesting. This is the fun stuff. That's also the fun stuff. I think people are very interested.
I'm just the one that brings it to you. So.
Yes, but that's very important. That's very important. Why? I'm curious why you guys think people, I mean, women especially, but I would say people, because my parents have watched every episode of all 3 shows sitting up here, including my dad, and reruns many times. So what is it you think about crime shows and procedurals in general that people are just drawn to?
I think that people like to see the status quo, you know, get challenged, and then it coming back to normal in an hour. You know, there's something about the comfort of a procedural television show. It's an answer to a question. Who did it, or how did it, or will they get caught? And you know, inherent in that is an answer, and you're going to watch it to see what the answer is. And so it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so you have tension, and then you have release. And I think that that's kind of cathartic and comforting. And I think that you can watch it also. You can see the dark side of humanity from the safety of your own couch, you know, and that I think is comforting for people and soothing.
Absolutely.
I love with Elsbeth how, like, you know who the killer is, right? At the top of the episode, and that was so unique because then we just get to go on that journey with you and discovery. And I think it's the discovery that hooks us, whether you already know who the killer is or you're waiting to see what happens in court. You get to discover it with you, and I really enjoy that. For Matlock, we have that overarching mystery. And so while we may have the week-to-week legal case, it has a connection to what either Maddie Matlock or I am experiencing. And our writing room is so genius, and so is obviously our showrunner, Jenny Snyder-Ehrman, to reflect what our...
Janice was on my show. I didn't know she was...
She'll catch up at some point.
I was like, this isn't the scary part, I promise. But yeah, I think just like medical dramas as well, right? It's just like the discovery kind of like hooks us in. And that's what I love about procedural dramas is, and especially playing a character on a procedural drama, I always pray that I'm going to become as smart as the character that I'm playing. You know, like I still, like I played a doctor once, and I still am like catecholinergic polymorphic ventricular tachycardia, and I'm back to like, I know, it's toxic. I shouldn't know this. But like now I'm calling family like, do you need legal advice? They're like, not from you. I'm like, no.
I offered.
It's toxic. I
think that's a good toxic trait to have. Kirsten.
I'm stealing Carrie's answer for why people watch procedurals, and now I want to watch. I need to watch these shows now because I'm like, wait, you find out about the killer at first? Maybe I could do that if I knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
You know,
okay, I'm
scary.
in. I'm already in because I met them, but like I'm more in now. And that is true, I think. I'm like, maybe I can watch it if I can understand that going through the darkness and whatever. Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, Elsbeth is sort of like a jaunt into the darkness. And then you come back.
I might, maybe. I think that I like to think that for Criminal Minds, people can kind of feel that, and maybe this is just what I'm telling myself, but I mean, it's all of this stuff. Joe Mantegna just gave us all these amazing pictures of wild animals that were taken by this guy. That's his job. And the reason why he sent us each these pictures is because he was held captive. He was taken hostage, and he had watched so many episodes of Criminal Minds that he was like, what would Rossi do? What would Rossi do? And actually like talked himself through it, using him, and got out of the situation. It was in like all the papers, all this stuff. Yeah. So like, people have actually been like, I did that in this situation and it worked. So there's weirdly this kind of like, and again, as women, we do kind of want to know what to, any feminine bent creature I think needs to feel like that. And then I think also we have such a good time doing the show, and we're so close that you can kind of feel that underneath. And so you're kind of watching the show, and then you're watching the meta other thing that's happening, I think. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not. I think you are as smart as her. I've decided, and I am not. I think
affirmations my love language.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I can't type.
I was gonna say, are you good hacking? Are you good?
Oh no, my job is to make the revolution as attractive as possible. Yeah. So my job is to make feminine bent people want to get into tech and to do that. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. I can make you want to do it, but I can't do it.
I love that. I love that. So you're not pretending to do that. You're not calling your family like, I'm gonna hack into your computer for you.
Well, no, my family knows so little that when I do know stuff, they're like, wow, she did that. So they know they're more Luddite than me, but no, I don't. I try to know what I'm saying in the moment that I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And then I immediately brain dump it. I can't. Nope, it's gone. Gone.
Do you think, and I know, I think a lot of procedurals do this now, but obviously Matlock, we talked about just did, especially that first season, had this overarching mystery also. And when Criminal Minds became Evolution, it also for the first time had a case that overwent the whole season and now has continued on. Do you think that kind of changed things up at all? Do you think that changed the vibe a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And people don't even know it exists anymore sometimes. Right. People are like, what are you doing now? Like that show. Yeah. Happily. And but I also think they did that overarching, but people like that of the week thing, and they're back to the of the week thing now. So they're kind of doing a little both.
Yeah. I feel like most shows are doing
both.
Law and
Order.
Yeah.
You can jump in whenever you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? You can't just jump in on Matlock.
Right.
No.
Like you have to start from the beginning. There's spoilers, and I think especially the end of the pilot. Mm-hmm. It's like you can't give that away because that's what hooks people. Mm-hmm. And so it's a gift and a curse. I think when you have those character-driven dramas, you better have some heavy hitters. Like a Kathy Bates, right? You got to have really great writers like Jenny Steiner-Erman and her team, because it is getting my friends to even watch my own show.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like,
same.
Can I just jump in? No. Like, never mind, I'll just block you. Such a short friend list.
Dwindling down. Yeah.
Well, everyone will be happy to know that Law and Order is, of course, our classic go-to. I probably have watched every single SVU, I think. But NBC, I don't even work for NBC, but I'm going to plug it. They are rolling out a fast channel with Law and Order. Nice. So 24/7 Law and Order. So that should be coming out, I think, this summer. So I'm
All the
gonna,
women, oh.
Everyone's like,
Like,
yes.
oh! But you know, I had this revelation last night when you said the 80% of crime drama audience members are women. Last night, for years, if I was in a hotel room by myself, I'm like mask on and forensic files.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
But then last night, because my husband came with me, I'm on the guide and I see forensic files and I'm like, and I'm like, just like, I can't let him watch me watch murder on a vacation. Like,
It's comforting.
But-
It's fine.
but at the same time, I was like, do I feel safer because he's here that I'm
Right.
not watching it? Like, I'm just so mindful around, like, why wouldn't I watch it while he's here?
Right.
read the psychology behind
Yeah,
it. It's
I'm
it's
absolutely
fascinating. It's fascinating. And true crime, you know, that is obviously a very clear adjacency to crime drama. Procedurals. And, you know, again, we see tons and tons of consumption on 48 Hours and Dateline and gosh, you know, I mean, just on and on it
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
Definitely. Was there a first? Sorry, do you want to say? I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, I can't watch true crime. It really upsets me. No, I need it to be a little more ordered. I need it to be art. I need there to be a resolution. I need to believe that there is law and order in the world because I know there's not, you know, all the time. And so I just kind of, when I go in to watch a crime show, I need to understand that it's fiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I see, it makes me very upset when I see the real stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's extremely upsetting. Which again, I think is part of the reason why in today's world, these procedurals that you know after an hour, not everything's going to be tied up in a bow, clearly, but there is a bit of a resolution to look forward to, at least in part of one of the cases you're working on. What was the earliest memory you guys have of watching crime TV? Was there anything that you guys watched when you were
Matlock.
younger?
The original.
Really?
That's my grandmother.
Nice.
Or Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Elsbeth is in the tradition
world.
of, you know, Columbo and Murder She Wrote and
Right.
you know, all those.
And Murder, She Wrote is on Pluto, is it not?
Ah.
Murder, She Wrote, Perry Mason, and actually, you know, some classics that I had actually not heard of before my team presented it to me, but Rizzoli and Isles,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
strong female led,
Yeah.
is killing it.
No, I saw
And The Closer, and even Cagney and Lacey. Remember
Yeah.
that? I mean, that's like from way
Yes.
back when. But they
Yeah.
are all on the platform, and again, perform. You know, we have new, we have, you know, kind of new, and then we have classic. Like
Yeah.
Perry Mason and Murder, She Wrote, and they all do great. They all do
So
great.
fascinating to me. I am going to be going to fan questions in a little bit, so I hope you guys are thinking of questions. I also wanted to ask you guys, because this is a all women panel, what is it do you think that inspires women in today's world that you like to put out there? What is it about characters that once you land a role, you want to put out there and that you just inspire other women?
I mean, I always say that that the show Elsbeth is about a woman reinventing herself at you know, in midlife, you know, at a later age. She already had a whole career. She had a whole life in Chicago, and then she moves to a brand new city on her own and starts a brand new career that she's never done before. And she's not attached to a man. She's not married, you know, and there's something very inspiring and kind of revolutionary about that. You know, a lot of TV wants to attach a woman to a man, you know, in some way, and that's wonderful. But it's also, I think, something that we've been working towards is having more shows that really celebrate that, you know.
Yeah, for me, my personal life and who Kathy Bates represents on Matlock is that let go of the age of change, like what age you are when you decide to pivot, or like Matlock getting back into being an attorney in her 70s. me quitting my corporate job at 28 to pursue a dream that not one person supported. Honestly, they thought it was crazy. It was 2009. The economy just crashed a year ago, right? And I was not, at the time, formally trained. I wasn't in the union. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any connections. I just had a dream that like hunted me when I asked, because I knew where I was not it. I knew that sterile cubicle, something was off. I was having these like Ally McBeal fantasy moments where like 12-year-old version Skye was just sitting on my desk kicking my file cabinet, and she was really angry and was just like, this is not what I asked for. And I am serious. Like, I was just daydreaming a lot, and then I was just like, you know what? Screw it. Dare to suck. And so tell yourself that when you want to pivot. I dare you to suck at something, right? You'll suck. You will. And then you'll get good. And then you'll get acting with Kathy Bates good.
But you have to fail to succeed, right?
Just allow yourself to be bad at something new, just so that you can be on the stage right now talking about it, right? And so that's what I want through my work, not just to inspire everybody to decide how you want to live out the rest of your life, because this is the youngest you will ever be, but also I like choosing roles that move my culture forward. And so, you know, being intentional on playing a doctor, or playing a lawyer, and having these young brown girls running up to me, it just fills my heart, because that's what Cicely Tyson and Viola Davis did for me, and Diane Carroll did, you know. And so I like being a representation for everyone when it comes to just do it already.
Absolutely. I love that. Kirsten, what about you?
You know, when I got the job, I probably wouldn't have the job without Shamar Moore chemistry, right? And then he left, and I co-wrote the episode that he left, and I remember I wrote the scene where he left, and then as I was acting the scene, I do kind of compartmentalize. I was acting the scene, and I was like, oh no, who am I without, I don't have a character without this. And I was walking around like, I have no point. Like, I was only here as the reflection of this person, which I know isn't true, but it was like a story I was telling myself in that moment. And I think one of my favorite things about Garcia that I have, but she has really unapologetically, and so I borrow that from her. I'm stealing something that I heard on The Daily Show with Glennon Doyle, talking about living life off the menu. Like, Garcia's very off the menu. You know what I mean? Like, I'm bespoking this, how I want it to be. And I think that as women, we have to do that, because the world is not built for left-handers. It's not built for queer people. It's not built for the feminine bent. So we have to bespoke it. And like the Dalai Lama says, I think he said, I'm paraphrasing, but like, the Western woman will save the world. But we have to make our experience comfortable for ourselves so that we can do that. And I think that when you have women of like, this is how I am, and I'm not apologizing for my smarts or my charisma or whatever, and my nerve and my talent, then you're gonna, that reflection, you hope that people see that in themselves and feel that in them. Because I think that the best thing I can do on that show is let someone project themselves onto me and be like, you only like me because you're afraid to look at that in yourself. That's in you. That's not in me. I'm a two-dimensional image in your living room. So I think that's my answer.
Great answer. I'm so happy that you brought up the love interest situation, that you brought up Shamar, because there is this in TV. Obviously, there are romances that people are drawn to. We also love romance, just like we love crime. But I'm curious how you guys walk that line of I want to pay, you know, respect to those people who are rooting for a couple or who are rooting for, you know, there's these people, but also I'm a woman who doesn't need a man. So how do you walk that line of being both and making people happy?
I have a short answer.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to have a 76-year-old woman love interest.
Yes. Yes.
Because that's the real love story
Yes,
on
it
Matlock. Is between Olympia and Maddie, and seeing their journey together. And people don't even remember that I'm I'm with Jason Ritter's character, Julian. They're just like wanting Matlock and Olympia to work it out. And that takes a very unique skill to write something that beautiful where a 40-year-old black woman and a white lady in her 70s fall in love and are so vulnerable with each other because we've found that what I like to refer to as the crack in the castle wall because of how the world shows up for the old women and they're invisible and how they've shown up for my culture and just like, how did we fall in love? And so I haven't had to play a role where I had a male love interest for a long period of time, but for this to be my like first real love story on a big platform, I am extremely, extremely lucky.
I mean, with Kathy Bates, a dream, right?
There's a similar relationship in Elsbeth between Elsbeth and Kaya. It's this friendship that develops, and then they equally mentor each other, even though Elsbeth is 58 and Kaya is 35, and they have this unlikely alliance, and they learn from each other and all of that. And so I enjoyed that part of it so much. And so much so that the way that they wrote the character of Kaya, they elevated the character to detective, and that meant that she's going to go off on her own, and that and how does that hit Elsbeth to see this friendship? She has to let go of it. She has to let her blossom and let her go and reinvent herself in the same way that Elsbeth has been reinventing herself. And it was just a beautiful parallel there. During the season, they brought on a love interest for Elsbeth in the Valentine's Day episode. And I so appreciated the way it was written because she just had a booty call. You know what I'm saying? And, he was from Scotland, and it was so nice that that we had this distance so that it didn't have to be, what's going to happen? Are they going to stay together because he's on the other side of the world? But they, had this beautiful connection, and she let herself go there, but she didn't need to get hung up on it because that's not the focus of her life. And the audience, really, they loved him. I mean, he's adorable. I mean, what's not to love there? It was funny. Johan Griffith, who plays that part, he's Welsh, but he's playing a Scottish character, and he was like, "I hope I get the accent right." And I was like, "Babe, you're good." I was like, doesn't matter what you do. They're gonna love you, and so I like it that people are wanting more, but they're not. The writers are not feeling the need to suddenly make him a series regular or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I auditioned for Kaya. My take was terrible.
You did not.
Wow.
I had a Christmas scarf on and everything.
No way.
I did right before Matlock.
No way.
Yeah.
See, you.
My husband taped me.
You ended up where you were supposed to be.
And I remember I was like, oh. I really wanted Elsbeth.
Oh man, you ended up where you were supposed to be, though. Look at that.
Meant to be.
No, it's great to watch, and she's incredible.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever I have this great romance that wasn't a romance, and then on that show, and then there was an actual romance, and then there's this other now not romance, and I think that they just need to stay like that. I think that when you actually get there, I think what's wrong with just staying in plateau? I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like once the sexual response cycle ends, then it's over, and you got to go all the way back up again. So I feel like it's just like a never-ending like what's gonna happen, and that tension is fun. Yeah. And when people go like, "Oh, I'm sad that he's gone," let me introduce you to a streaming thing called Pluto where you can watch.
That's right.
And you can write that story however you want.
Yeah, 100%. Amy, what have you learned about what works and what doesn't work? What does the audiences want and don't want?
I mean,
mean, this sounds so cliche, but we watch the data, you know, and the data, you know, we have multiple key performance indicators that we work with in terms of, you know, how long someone stays on the platform, how many channels they're watching, some of the things I mentioned before. And that gives us insight to what we should be leaning into more, what we should be pulling back on. Like, we know movies are big acquisition hooks for VOD, big acquisition hooks. Same with big TV, popular TV series. That we don't see that on the linear side as well. It's a little different. So it's watching the data. It's a pretty massive, you know, machine that we have that talks to us and feeds us the information. And then we just also have the human curation aspect of it too. People that specialize in crime or kids content or comedy, or in fact, I think one of our curators lives here in Austin. He's the comedy guy. But people have specialties and passions of areas that when they create the channels, and that's what we lean into as well, as their experience and passion in doing that.
Tell them about how many hours people are watching. You told me before.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Pluto TV at the end of last year, I want to say on a global level, we probably, our consumption was about 8 billion viewing hours. So that's global. You know, domestic's probably about 6.5, because we're pretty big domestically. But it's, you know, I wish we had the $100 million, $200 million to market our product, because it's so good and it's only going to get better. And you'll start seeing a lot more synergies between Paramount Plus and Pluto, you know, as time progresses. But whenever I am in a cab or at the airport, or I travel extensively, and I tell people, look at this, it's free. They're like, holy shit, you know, why am I still paying for cable? And I mean, so spread the word. At some point, you're going to see massive Pluto TV everywhere. Marketing's
but still
expensive,
keep
though.
watching CBS regularly.
Still keep watching.
Oh, God.
Well, we see, you know, we have
CBS. Okay.
We're all one. Paramount, CBS, the Viacom networks, Paramount Streaming, Pluto TV. So it's all one big company. We call it one Paramount. CBS ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, no.
The 70-year-old, you know, people won't let it go anywhere. That's the audience.
That's right.
Everybody's mom, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's mom.
I mean, I watch at least 10 hours of CBS a week. I will say that, and I'm like, it's not just because of my job. So I think that's a good thing.
When I first moved to LA, I lived on Radford, directly across from CBS. Like, I could look over the wall,
studio, yeah.
And so that's why I chose it, because it just seemed easily accessible. I was like, I'm right here, guys.
You don't have to drive.
I love that CBS was like on your vision board. I just love that.
It was.
It's amazing.
That's where I learned that specificity is key, because I was just like, I'm going to be a regular on a CBS procedural drama, and then within a few months, I was a regular background actor on CSI New York for like 24 episodes. And I was like,
great.
Okay.
You're getting there.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But
it's
was
a step.
like, I just, you know, I'm also one of those people, like, it's not about what you're doing. It's about who you're being while you're doing it. And so I didn't want to walk around like a zombie, like, oh, I'm just a background actor. So I told myself, no, this is a paid internship. Like, I'm here to learn. The only thing I knew was stage. I didn't know banana around the camera and martini shot. Like, I didn't know any of that language. So I went in there as a paid internship. And that's where I started meeting a lot of directors and writers that were coming in for one episodes. And then fast forward, they then would cast me in speaking roles. And so at that time, I didn't have a talent agent. And two, most people's surprise, I still don't have a talent agent.
Oh my goodness.
I have an amazing manager.
Yes.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
incredible.
she and I decided to like tag team and collaborate, and because of my experience being in marketing and corporate, I didn't want to let that go. I still love the grind. I still love knowing my craft. I still read all the trades. I didn't want to just be talent. Like, I wanted to have the hands on the wheel of my business and my career. I wanted to be in on the conversations. I wanted to, you know what I mean? And so having that fulfillment also aligned with being ready for those moments. But it's been, no joke, a lot of women passing the baton to the next woman. That's my resume.
Yeah. It's incredible. That is so important. Well, thank you for reading the trade still, so I have a job. I want to take it to questions. Someone's going to come around with a mic. We have a couple in the back to start. Yeah, whoever wants.
So, as a woman in a procedural, what topics or themes would you like to see addressed that have so far been either ignored or avoided or just not thought of?
Great question.
You know, we did an episode last season. I should probably, again, telling tales out of school. I shouldn't have even said that. We did an episode. Forget I said last season. But this happens a lot on my show anyway, where something gets sexualized. We're all adults. Okay. Something gets sexualized, and it's usually like a woman, and something violent is happening. And in this particular way it was done, the women who were having this violent thing happen they looked really sexy in the way that they were, doing it. And no one was acknowledging. I'm waiting for this part where people acknowledge it is normal to be titillated. That's okay that you're like, that person is attractive and they're wearing very little clothes and whatever. It's not okay that this person did it without. I want us to have more of a transparent conversation about consent. Because, like Dan Savage says, like sex play is like kabuki with your clothes off, right? It's like we need to have conversations about this is okay and this is not consensual and it's not okay. And I feel like there's a violence with sexuality, especially with feminine bent people, especially with women, with people of the global majority, like all that stuff that like we need to like take that out, and we don't do it enough. And I feel like on my show especially, I don't know how to, even when I try to like wedge it in the lines, they're like, no. Like last time I was like, could we say something? Like, no, you don't understand. We're going to make it look like it's not sexy. They didn't do that. They made it absolutely. Yeah. And I wish that's my wish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the film and TV is inherently sexy. I mean, it glorifies, heroin use or any of the things just because the medium is so people love it. And so that would be very cool if we could get to that place.
I want it to be more sexy, but also more transparent. I want both.
You know what I mean? Speaking
more sexy in sexy situations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and like when it's violent.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're saying the exact same thing.
I was gonna say, speaking of transparency. So like with crime dramas, we have the PDs, we have the FBIs, we have the CIAs. I want in on ICE. And I want them to start sharing characters that have real families. I want them to start humanizing these people, especially the wrongfully convicted, especially these children. I want to see the officers that don't agree with all the ways of their operation. I want in on, I want consultants that worked in ICE to write a series. And we need to know more. I think we need to empathize and sympathize more with the process and have a better understanding. And that's a crime show I'm still waiting for because I'm very curious.
Have you pitched it?
Yeah.
Damn it, I just told everyone.
But you know the right people to pitch it to.
Yeah. I'll tell you about a show that I did pitch.
Copywritten.
I'll tell you about a show that I wrote I did pitch that didn't get picked up, so it's okay. Because in Hollywood, once you pitch a thing and they say no, you don't get to do it again. But I created a show that was I wanted to create like the female version of like True Detective. But that would mean that all the characters in the law enforcement, I love police procedurals, obviously, all the characters in the police department would need to be female. So how would that work? Well, something would have to happen to all the men. And so I did create a show where it was all women who something happens to all the men, and it's a small town. It's a small town in the South, and then we have to watch these women then put everything back together. I wish that we could have made it. Maybe I can pitch it again someday. But yeah,
that sounds so interesting, so
Put it on
fascinating.
YouTube.
Yes, we have another one.
Hi, This question is for Skye. Sorry. What is it like working with Jason Ritter? And feel free to be brutal because he's my stepson. Seriously, no, I need some dirt on him. He's getting real full of himself.
I'm looking over there and I'm going, I know her.
Jason,
How lucky are you?
how lucky are you? He never calls, he never writes.
Jason Ritter is a walking exclamation mark.
Yes. And a question mark if you're nasty.
You know, when I was, right after I booked Olympia, I had the first time ever privilege of auditioning the 5 top actors for the Julian role.
Oh my God.
And Jason was the 3rd out of the 5. They didn't have the name there. I didn't know that was Jason Ritter.
He's sneaky
Because
like
it was
that.
like a Zoom. No, it was like a Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't in person. And immediately I was just like, the 3rd actor, Jason. And they were like, oh, thank God. We all wanted him too.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
And then he and I met, and I was like, is he goofier than what I imagined? I'm like, I have to make different choices for my character now.
Oh God, he loves you so much, Skye.
This has to be compatible. Like, how do I? And then I realized that he and I operate on the same weird meter.
100%. I heard about this immediately.
So much joy.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, I have to
I'm
park my adult outside of the studio lot, inner child only.
Right, that's right.
Approach. Even when I'm going through something personal, like if Jason sees me and he's like, "Are you okay?"
Right.
And I'm just like, you know, he'll cry before I cry.
That's right. That's my boy.
No, this has happened multiple times. So I'm like, Jason, do not. And he's like, I said I wasn't gonna do this.
No, he is heart on his sleeve.
Yeah. And so like he has the heart of gold. Melanie Linsky's so lucky. He's the best dad, and
yes.
he's the only man that I can openly talk about like this up front of my husband, and my husband gets it.
I'm sorry.
Because he is equally
in love with him?
With his character.
All right. Jason might be into it. Let me give him a call.
No, seriously, it was just love at first sight. I know. I'm like, Jason, Melanie, you guys want to come get in the hot tub? Yeah. I'm like, no, stop asking.
That's so okay, because he adores you.
But no,
Will you be at the Roper Romp at 4:00 that Pluto's putting on?
Goodness.
Think about it. There's a Roper Romp. We're dressing up in our caftans. I keep calling it a dashiki from the 70s.
No, I didn't know anything about this.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have packed it in the bag.
Okay, no, I have one for you. Just letting no pressure. No pressure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a great rest of
season
your day.
2, they're gonna let Jason out the gate.
Okay, I know, but you won't tell me a
dance?
GD
Can we
thing
have him
about
dancing?
it. Okay, I love all
We
you
need to have him
ladies.
dancing on the show.
Offer only.
His dance videos are wild.
Well, I share. We share a wall in our trailers, and I kept hearing the Matlock theme song, and I was like, is he like a method actor? Like, you don't have to play the Matlock. This is weird. Like,
Was
and
the
then
trailer
suddenly,
shaking?
The trailer starts moving, and I'm like, what is he doing? In
They're
there?
very physical dances. They're
We're
very
just going to court. Like, what is he doing in there? I never know what he's doing in there.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
I did not realize he had a queue of these videos. And it was brilliant because I wasn't prepared as far as promoting the show and getting enough beat. You have great BTS.
Yeah.
And like, and so now season 2, like,
You're prepared.
the whole trailer is going to be rocking now. Because he's unleashed.
I love
He's
that.
unleashed me now.
I think we probably have time for one more question. I think we have somebody here.
Hello.
Hi.
First and foremost, Kirsten, I want to say thank you so much for playing Garcia. I am a woman in tech, and it was nice to see somebody who was not Angelina Jolie, or somebody who just seemed a little bit more relatable, I think, in some sense. So I was very grateful for that. But that wasn't actually the question. The question that I have is, one of the things that I'm seeing on social media, and maybe I'll just throw it out there. So one of the things I'm seeing on social media is many women, many high caliber women in general, talk about how they're struggling with dating and relationships and changing societally acceptance, societal standards in dealing with men, older men. I'm not necessarily really seeing that reflected on TV, and I don't know if that's something, I don't know why that is. Typically, I don't know if it's because it's what we see on TV is aspirational, or if it's, I guess that's what I'm going for is, are there any thoughts behind that?
Are you saying, I think what you're saying, correct me if I'm, thank you, by the way, and I think what you're saying is like that out in the world, women are saying that the reflection of the men that are coming toward them, that is being offered to them, is not of the maybe energetic caliber that is acceptable, or
that they're seeing on TV.
That they're seeing on TV.
The love story.
Yeah, it's funny because, and this is not a plug, but it's just true. I wrote a play that's at the Hollywood Fringe in June called Outdated, because I was like, I've been happily with somebody for 5 years, but I have so much institutional knowledge now about dating. Because I did the online dating, I just Clark Kented myself and gave myself a different name and did it. I did it, and it was horrifying. It was horrifying. You're like, did I deserve this many people wearing jester hats in their profile picture? No one does. And I mean that. But like, I do think that like you couldn't show that. I mean, you almost couldn't show what it really is like there in the world, because it is like dating is almost like if you had a bad rating on Lyft and you got all the 1-star Lyft, because there's no way to filter it out because you're only doing it online. And I would say that's the same problem with TV. Like, you're only getting a weird Disney, you know what I mean? They couldn't even show it because it's so demoralizing. And I think they should. And they don't, because they can't. But also, I think it speaks to like that we have to just rev up our energetic speed and only remind ourselves we're a rare gem and just need to be a really good girlfriend, boyfriend, partner to yourself. And then you're only going to get that. And I think that that's what TV does. But I agree with you 100%. And it doesn't, but no one would want to see that because it's horrifying. And we're already watching crime.
Yeah. I feel like that is such a good note to end on. I can't even top that. Thank you all for coming. Thank you guys so much for being here.